Everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Coffee and Crypto. My name's Don. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching today's video. Yet again, another jam-packed episode with some crazy news coming out from a certain someone in the market who has bought even more Bitcoin. Now, you may have seen it on Twitter. I've got a bit of news to kind of cover discussing it and give my opinion on it as well, because it's getting quite silly and out of hand now. But anyway, first things first, as we always do with the start of the video, we look at the top 10 crypto prices. Let's just have a look at those prices. I'm going to actually refresh this quickly just to make sure it is up to date and accurate. There we go. Cool. So first things first then, Bitcoin is currently sitting at 29,492. So we're up a little bit from yesterday's video. Ethereum is at 1,856. We then have BNB at $245. XRP, 69 cents. Dogecoin at 0.07. We then have Cardano at 30 cents. Solana at $23. And Tron at 0.07. So, bit of a mixed bag again today. Not much movement realistically in the market, although we have seen Bitcoin and Ethereum pop up about 1-2%. Overnight, which is good to see. Yesterday wasn't all the best of days in crypto. Obviously, we kind of discussed that. If you tuned in and watched yesterday's episode of Coffee and Crypto, you would have known that. But yeah, we're up a little bit. We have managed to finish the day off yesterday in the green, which is great. Positive to see. But yeah, we just continue to, I guess, trend sideways. Boring old crypto. But yeah, like I said, a bit of news to come out today, or came out last night, but you would have known that a certain someone has purchased yet again another huge bag of Bitcoin, and it's getting out of hand. So let's talk about it. You may have seen this tweet then from Michael Saylor. So he says here that in July, MicroStrategy acquired an additional 467 Bitcoin for $14.4 million and now holds 152,800 Bitcoin. It's ridiculous. So let me bring up some news articles. Let's talk about it in more detail and show you kind of that in a bit more kind of detail. So first things first then, in quarter 2 earnings results filing report, which was yesterday, MicroStrategy reported a $22.2 million net income, a massive swing from its net loss of $1.1 billion in the year prior over that period. Now, the total revenues were mostly flat at $120.4 million. Now, the headline of this here says, MicroStrategy returns to profit and now owns $4.4 billion worth of Bitcoin. So, you all know that over the past kind of few years, MicroStrategy, or Michael Saylor, has been buying a lot of Bitcoin, a little bit higher, a little bit lower than the current price. But overall, he is in profit due to dollar cost averaging. So basically, MicroStrategy is using dollar cost averaging, but using it in a bit of a larger scale than what we're used to. They now own, like I said, $4.4 billion worth of Bitcoin. Not far off of my holdings, to be fair. I'm a couple of billion short, but I'm almost there. But the part here then says, much of the swing, and this is based on their profits, was due to the comparatively smaller digital assets impairment loss of $24.1 million in the quarter, compared to a whopping $917 million in quarter 2. So look, it's looking good for them. They're in profit again after losing almost $1 billion in profits, which is absolutely insane. Now, in the MicroStrategy's case, digital asset impairment occurs when the market price of Bitcoin falls below the price at which the Bitcoin was acquired. So essentially, like I mentioned, they're dollar cost averaging, but if their average price is $35,000, for example, but the price of Bitcoin is $30,000, then obviously they're in a net kind of loss. That's essentially what the digital asset impairment kind of thing is that it mentions there. So it says here then the price of Bitcoin hovered between 25,000 and 30,000 in the second quarter, with notable rally in mid-June after several new spot Bitcoin exchange, obviously ETFs, we spoke about them, were filed. So that's when it really got the price of things rallying again, or a bit more excitement back in the market. He says here that Our Bitcoin holdings increased to 152,800 Bitcoins as of July 31st, with the addition in the second quarter of 12,333 Bitcoins, being the largest increase in a single quarter. Absolutely insane. So I've got another article I want to discuss in just a sec, but the fact that this company now owns almost 153,000 Bitcoin. Like, trying to even just think of like the maths on that. Like, someone do it and type it in the comments. Can someone calculate for me 152,800 times, I don't even know, I'm trying to think of a number. Even the old all-time high. How much is 152,800 times 69,000? Can someone please do that math equation for me and drop it in the comments? I'm interested to know how much money that guy is going to be worth, even when we return back to the all-time high. Never mind setting a new all-time high, which I would love to see up between $150,000 and $200,000, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. I would love to see that. Can you imagine how much money it will be worth then? Yeah, absolutely insane. Anyway, the other kind of part of the news I wanted to discuss with the MicroStrategy news. So this has also just come in this morning. So Saylor's MicroStrategy plans $750 million stock sale, possibly buying more Bitcoin. Interesting. So obviously, you've seen the name of, or the title of today's video. Is 152,800 Bitcoin enough? Well, clearly not. Clearly not. So again, MicroStrategy here apparently are planning to sell $750 million of stock here, right? Insane. So in the filing, obviously, we already know part of this here, but they have said that it's entered into a sales agreement with 3 companies, Cowen & Company, Canaccord Genuity, and Bernbag Capital. Never heard of any of them, relating to the sale of its Class A common stock. Now, MicroStrategy said the proceeds of the proposed sale could be used for a variety of general corporate purposes, such as the acquisition of more Bitcoin and working capital. Now, we all know that MicroStrategy love to sell off stock, and they love to buy Bitcoin with that sold off stock. They've done it 2 or 3 times in the past. He's also borrowed money as well against the company and stuff to then buy Bitcoin. So yeah, pretty intense. I can see someone's commented that number. So the number is actually too long for me to even understand. Is that trillion or is that billion? That looks like trillion to me. No, that'd be billion. Yeah, that'd be billion. So about 10.5 billion. Is that right? Correct me if I'm wrong. There's too many zeros on that number for me to calculate this morning. But yeah, I guess that would make sense actually, now that I think about it, because going back to the fact that he owns $4.4 billion worth, and if you're to double that, then we're talking, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, so there we go. So if MicroStrategy, I don't even know why I actually asked for that sum now, because now that I think about it, it's pretty self-explanatory, but thank you so much, Mr. Dowie in the chat, who did, in fact, do that calculation for me. I appreciate it. But yeah, so 152,800 Bitcoin, when it returns to its all-time high, will be worth $10.5 billion, which is a cool $6 billion profit just when it returns to its all-time high. Nice. Very nice. Anyway, back to this article then. So as with prior programs, we may use the proceeds for general corporate purposes, which include the purchase of Bitcoin, as well as the repurchase or repayment of our outstanding debt. So remember when I said he borrowed money, so he's got a loan out essentially of a few million, and with that borrowed money, he bought Bitcoin as well. So he will do anything. So Saylor and MicroStrategy will literally do anything they can to get money or raise capital to buy Bitcoin. So fair play. Now, that part there, I'm not going to read this part here because I've literally just kind of explained it in a lot of detail. But I guess the point I want to make here, right? Here we go again with one of my famous speeches. Someone actually compared my speech on Monday to the Braveheart speech, which, do you know what? I actually agree with. But anyway, here we go again. So get prepared for this one. So the real point I want to cover the MicroStrategy news and kind of focus a lot of my energy on it in today's Coffee and Crypto. Normally, I'll be honest, I don't touch too much on the MicroStrategy stuff, purely because we tend to see a dump after Michael Saylor has bought a lot of Bitcoin, or he's announced that he's bought a lot of Bitcoin. It's a very strange phenomenon that we see in crypto. But anyway, that's why I don't tend to kind of eat into it too much. But the point I want to make here, right, and it kind of goes back to actually what point I made on Monday as well, where it's like you only get so many chances in crypto. And it's also kind of goes to the point that I make quite a lot, where it's like, well, people say that they don't really believe in Bitcoin. Maybe you're watching this, maybe you're still a bit on the fence, but people you know, people you speak to, people online are still very much against it. They don't think it's possible for it to kind of go anywhere in the future, and they don't want to put in a couple of $1,000s or whatever it may be to risk that money to potentially make more money. Now, I get that, I understand that, but the point I like to show and try and tell on these Coffee and Crypto episodes is, well, here we go again, another super rich guy putting a lot of his money, in fact, sorry, it's not even his money, a lot of his borrowed money for his business that he runs. He's selling off a lot of stock from his business purely to buy Bitcoin. That's pretty risky. That's more risky than anything, I would say, in terms of investing. I would never advise to sell off stock from your company and take out loans and whatever it may be to buy an asset. Look, don't get me wrong, people do it, and obviously clearly it's working, and clearly this rich man knows exactly what he's doing because he knows and he believes in the future of Bitcoin. But yeah, I guess the point I'm trying to make is, like I said, something that I make quite often is, I mean, watch what they're doing with their money. Usually it says don't listen to what they do, watch what they do. But in this instance, you're kind of doing both, because Michael Saylor's telling you what he's doing, but he's also showing you what he's doing, and it's all just buying Bitcoin by the absolute truckload. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of the point I wanted to make there. Hopefully that was quite clear. And I know I bang on about it quite a lot, but you'll be surprised how many people I speak to, how many comments we get on YouTube videos, whatever it may be, about people still, for whatever reason, are against crypto. Look, I get it. If you're not interested, that's fine. Don't tell me that you're not interested. Like, don't try and prove a point to me that you're not interested. I don't care. I'm interested, and lots of other people are interested, and that's the main part. So yeah, if you are a person who's not interested and like to tell people that you're not interested, just know that no one really cares that much, because there's guys like this out there spending $4.4 billion worth just to buy some Bitcoin ahead of the next bull cycle, where he's looking to profit at least $6 billion. He'll probably make, like 10, 20 billion in profit, potentially. Absolutely insane. Anyway, moving on to some news which is not focused around Bitcoin. This is an interesting one. So actually, I wanted to cover this when I showed you the prices. I'll go back to it to show you. It's changed. One of the trending coins was Curve, but for whatever reason, it's changed in the past few minutes. It's still there. It's down quite a bit. And I want to kind of dive into this and give you a bit more kind of news on this as well. So it's not been the best performing asset, shall we say, the past week, but yeah, anyway, let me show you this just to explain kind of what's going on then. So Curve founder looks to unexpected counterparties to rescue sinking DeFi loans. Now, this is an interesting one. It's not great. So Curve Finance founder Michael Egrove is attempting to offload some of his DeFi positions to alleviate his mountain of debt, but some have highlighted his liquidity sources. Now, on August 1st, Nansen's research analyst Sandra posted a list of liquidity sources of the Egrove's Curve DAO positions. Now, according to this woman, Sandra, Egrove sold around 50 million Curve tokens over the counter to several buyers at a below market rate of 40 cents per token. This includes a 3 to 6 month vesting agreement, or they can be sold should prices reach 80 cents, right? So essentially, the reason he's doing this, for anyone that doesn't quite understand what over-the-counter and stuff is basically so that he doesn't sell 50 million tokens to market, which would crash the price, because you're adding mass liquidity, so you're adding mass supply. Obviously, supply and demand would then cause that to dip in price. Then you'd probably see a bit of a sell-off because people would panic. What people do is either they buy or sell over the counter. So they will go direct to exchanges or they'll go direct to investors and say, look, I will send you X amount of this token for a certain price. That certain price will be a lot cheaper than the market price because part of the agreement is you're kind of doing each other a favour. And that's essentially what's happened here. So it says here he sold them for 40 cents, which is under market value. What was the market at the moment? Does it say? So at the moment it's 56 cents. And that was obviously today. It was up a little bit higher, obviously. But go back to the article. Yeah, so he's selling it for under market value. And that's kind of, like I said, doing him a favour because he's able to get rid and offload that those tokens so he can pay off his debt. And it also means that he's not then going to crash the price of Curve. Now, the issue is, I've just showed you the chart, it's now down 22% because this news spreads fast. This news does still cause a bit of a shockwave across the board. So it does still, unfortunately, have a bit of a negative impact on assets. Now, it does say here that there is a lockup or vesting period, and all that means basically is for doing that person a favour and selling him it or exchanging it for a lower token price, technically they could just arbitrage it to an extent and just sell it on an exchange for its current value and, well, make profit. But again, that would then cause more of a sell-off because they're then selling to market. Okay, hopefully you're up to speed now and you get that if you weren't too sure with how over-the-counter transactions work. We've done over-the-counter transactions before in the past as well. And the reason for that is if we're buying a lot of tokens or selling a lot of tokens, whatever it may be, you don't want to impact the price of that token because volatility is not a good look. And it's not good for your assets either. It's not good for your investments for there to be volatility. So if there's any opportunity for us, and a lot of high net kind of investors do this, they'll approach and try and get over-the-counter transactions. Normally you don't get it any cheaper, to be honest. It just means that you don't like pump the price or dump the price when you're buying and selling. Basically, it's as simple as that. So anyway, the vesting period is set at 80 cents, or if it gets to 80 cents. And basically the reason for that is he's happy at that price level because that's kind of the price level it was at before all this kind of thing happened. So he would be happy for you to let go of your tokens at 80 cents. Now, the point of this article, sorry, that was a bit of a in-depth explanation, but hopefully, again, if you didn't know what that meant, it now makes more sense. But the point of this article here is saying that some of the bigger players involved included the Tron founder, which I'm a bit of controversy. I'm not too sure on this guy, Justin Sun, who was recently sued by the SEC. Other notable buyers including tech entrepreneur, better known as Mackie Big Brother, interesting name, whose Twitter personality, Zach XBT, last year accused of embezzling 22,000 Ether, currently valued at over $41 million. He's denied the claim in June and sued Zach XBT for defamation. So again, you would have known this guy, Zach XBT, is quite popular on Twitter for kind of doing deep dives into influencers and kind of big names in the crypto space for not doing what they said they would, kind of thing. So you may recognize that. Now this one here, an investment firm that also engages in market making, also snapped up some discounted tokens. Other include DeFi lending protocol Cream Finance, who is listed as part of the team for a NFT project, and 3 other crypto wallets. Now, again, without going into everyone and explaining who everyone is, it doesn't matter too much, but the Curve founder took out a $100 million DeFi stablecoin loan using his own Curve stash as collateral. However, the protocol was exploited in June 30th, resulting in a 30% crash in the Curve price. Now, not great. Now, as the price of Curve neared liquidation price, which is 36 cents, according to DeFi Llama, fears have mounted that a DeFi Black Swan event with so much Curve potentially flooding the markets with limited liquidity. So, again, like I kind of said, that's why you don't want to sell to market. and why high net guys don't want to sell to market, because they know, yes, they might be able to sell some of their tokens, but there may not be enough liquidity to sell all of the tokens. Usually in bull markets it's a bit different, right? There's a lot of buying and selling in bull markets, so don't worry too much about that. But at times like now, where there's not that much buying and selling as there is in a bull market, liquidity is a tough gig, and over-the-counter transactions happen all the time. And the reason for that is if an exchange or a project or whoever it may be if you want to sell, should I say, on that exchange of that project, the exchange or the project will rather you sold direct to them, and maybe at a cheaper price, but it also means that you've got 100% liquidity. They can guarantee you the funds, and it also means for the project that it won't crash the price of the token, which could cause some sort of drama online and accusations being thrown about. So yeah, anyway, I guess the point of this is to show you a few things. The people buying these cheap tokens are interesting people, especially Justin Sun. I'm not a huge fan of him, but again, this sort of stuff is required and it's needed because we don't want a black swan event in DeFi just caused by one project, because that then could cause a sell-off. And we all know that's not what we like to see in crypto, especially in DeFi, because decentralized finance is supposed to be a kind of cleaner and fairer version of the current financial system. So it wouldn't be a good look, put it that way. Anyway, hope that kind of helped a little bit. Hope that made a bit of sense and you learned a little bit from that. One thing I want to show you, this is quite a funny one. I probably should have showed this at the start when I was talking about prices, but CoinGecko tweeted this out today. I don't know if it's meant to be a bit of a meme, a bit of a laugh. I think it is. But it says, top crypto gainers today. Got any of these in your bag? Look at the state of crypto. Like, crypto is an absolute joke. Look at the state of these names. Bad Idea AI, Lucro, Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10 Inu, Dopex Rebeat, Quiz Talk, Index Cooperative, JPEG'd, Pip. Like, crypto's doomed. Like, crypto is absolutely doomed if you think that these names are going to make it anywhere. Especially this one here. I actually discussed this one, I think it was last week with Deck, where I was like, hang on a minute, there's something on KuCoin and it's pumped and it's called Bitcoin. What's that all about? Well, it turns out the actual name of that project is Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic Inu. Like, what an absolute riot. Anyway, this is why I hate crypto sometimes, because of this. I don't think it's a good look for the space. And yeah, unfortunately, they are gaining 40%, 40%, 40%. Like, they are making money, and there's volume. I mean, look at all that volume, 3 million, 6 million, almost a million. Like, there's money and there's idiots flowing money through these projects. Yeah, very, very interesting. Now, the last one I want to show you here is something that I haven't spoke about in quite some time. Spoke about it a little bit in 2020, if anyone remembers, but Plan B, again, the stock to flow model, it didn't go all that well at one point, but look, I wanted to show you anyway, because I used to kind of love following this. It was quite interesting. But the point I'm trying to make here is, I feel like I've said that so many times, the point I'm trying to make here. But what I wanted to show you was the July close was 29,200. I discussed that on on Tuesday's stream, which was yesterday. That actually wasn't a bad close. It was quite a good close for us, as much as it wasn't 30k or 31k, right? But based on this stock to flow model, we're actually in a kind of decent part of, the colour chart, and these are quite important. So if you look back to these colours, the kind of turquoise kind of colours, when it goes turquoise, that tends to mean it starts to change into a kind of navy, darker blue, into the red, and red is obviously the bull market. So again, based on history, you kind of get the light blue into the turquoise, into the dark, and then into the red. So again, this isn't a guaranteed model, right? It's just something that he's produced, and it's to do with the halving, and it's to do with the prices and the monthly closures and whatever it may be. So quite interesting to see it on this scale. Again, if you have no interest of this, I completely get it. It's just colours on your screen technically, but It's based on history and it's based on prices over kind of monthly charts. And yeah, I find it quite interesting that we're now printing this turquoisey kind of blue colour as well. So anyway, I wanted to finish up on that. But yeah, hopefully that helped. Hopefully you took a lot from today's video. And you now understand, well, one of two things. One, you understand that Michael Saylor is buying more Bitcoin than you will ever believe. And secondly, you understand now how over-the-counter transactions work and why over-the-counter transactions are so important. Yeah, like I said, hopefully you've taken something from today's video. That's all for today's episode of Coffee and Crypto. Thanks again for tuning in and watching today's video. If there's anything else that you need from me or anyone on the team, of course, you can join our members Discord. Again, there's a link in today's description. You can see it on your screen. Hop on, have a read through the different tiers, and we can help you out as best as possible. But yeah, that's all from me. I'll see you all tomorrow for another episode of Coffee and Crypto. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you very, very soon. See ya.